Glendale is a growing Armenian community along with other cities including Los Angeles, Burbank, Pasadena, and North Hollywood. The United States are now home to more than 1 million Armenians, and California hosts half of them. Although there are other cities that are homes to Armenians, Glendale hosts the largest Armenian population in California with roughly about 80,000 residents. The city thrives on the local businesses, schools, and churches all run by deeply rooted Armenian families. In fact, the political system in Glendale is mainly dominated by Armenian Americans, with 3 out of 5 of their council members that identify as Armenians. Before Glendale became the successful and largest Armenian society outside of Armenia, there is an important history to exactly how Armenians came to this country. There were 3 major waves of Armenian immigrants into the United States. The first was in the 1890s and only included about 70 Armenians. The second wave took place in 1920 with over 30,000 refugees, but then was limited in 1924 with new immigration laws stating only 150 Armenian immigrants were allowed every year. The third and largest wave took place from 1980 and 1989, and although it was poorly recorded, it is believed to have over 60,000 Armenians enter the United States at the time. The following clip interviews an Armenian American immigrant.
Hello, my name is Serbuy Biazian. I was born in Yerevan, Armenia, and I came to the United States at 2 months old.
How do you think the Armenian community in the United States has changed since you have arrived here?
Well, when I arrived here, there was no Armenians. No one knew what an Armenian was. No one knew where in the country it was. Everyone was like, what even is that? They haven't even heard of that. But like I said, how all of the Armenians are trying to navigate to the United States, there's like a town now in LA, a city now in LA, it's called Glendale, and it's filled with Armenians. There's actually Armenians in the US Senate, Armenians everywhere, and so we're like making a growing impact. And on the news every year on April 24th, there's always, we have parades of like last year we had 170,000 Armenians protesting in LA, Hollywood, LA somewhere, about the Armenian genocide.
The United Nations Genocide Convention defines a genocide as the deliberate and systematic destruction, in whole or in part, of an ethnic, racial, religious, or national group. The Armenian genocide took place from 1915 through 1923. An estimated 1.5 million Armenian people were massacred at this time by the hand of the political party in power of the Ottoman Empire. They were also known as the Young Turks, and although this political party no longer exists, what is left of their empire is known as the modern-day country of Turkey. Much of the Armenian people were banished into the desert to slowly die of dehydration and/or hunger. Women and their children were often taken from their homes and gruesomely abused. Others were massacred with planned-out methods executed by the Special Organization, a group ran by the Young Turks that were trained in producing slaughters on a massive scale. Because the country of Turkey currently and constantly denies to acknowledge that a genocide took place, it has become a topic of worldwide importance. Many of the countries where Armenian genocide survivors have spread to recognize and accept the term, such as France, Argentina, Greece, and Russia. However, Turkey still refuses to. Furthermore, the United States does not fully and officially recognize the Armenian genocide because of its fear to jeopardize its relations with Turkey. In fact, the topic has proved to become a political issue for our current president, Barack Obama. Before he was president, Obama promised Armenian Americans to acknowledge the genocide throughout his campaign, but 8 years later in the present, he has yet to address the massacre as a genocide. The next clip shows Obama discussing the genocide at a briefing in 2007.
Genocide that did take place against the Armenian people. It is one of these situations where we have seen a constant denial on the part of the Turkish government and others that this occurred. It has become a sore spot diplomatically.
Last year, 2015 marked the 100th anniversary of the genocide, and because of the Turkish government's failure to acknowledge the genocide, Many people have been actively advocating for the awareness of this crucial part to Armenian history, from local marches to the famous family of the Kardashians speaking out on this subject. Although criticized for using the topic for better public relations, the fact is that when the Kardashians speak out on a matter like this, awareness is raised to a wider and general audience. Just by tweeting, Kim Kardashian reaches out to over 40 million followers. She further expresses her stance on this by writing an essay to Time magazine last year stating, "The whole point of remembering the genocide is to make sure it doesn't happen again." In addition to the media expanding awareness of Armenian history, our interviewee explains how she plans on maintaining her Armenian culture in an American setting for future generations.
My goals for myself is to live the life that my cousins back in Armenia never had, and they always told me they wanted. My goal is to make a better Armenia in the future. Of course, I want to stay in the United States, but just contribute back as much as I can to them, because I don't know what they're going through, but I know what I have, and I'm very grateful for it. My goals for my children are to take them to Armenian school, to teach them how to read, write, speak in Armenian, as well as take them to some cultural Armenian dance classes.